Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Sir Major. I'm at the WCLK radio station with Miss Kip. We're going to be interviewing momentarily. We're going to be talking about Black Lives Matter. You guys know I film just to bring y'all that transparency, of course. Uh, it's really above my wake up call time, but we had to come do this. This is our people, so we had to come do it. Now, if this was Fox, I would schedule them after 1 o'clock, but we're here. Hope this will be a lot of fun. This is my first time actually, Kip. This is my first time here at this station.
Okay.
I haven't done this station, so
Well, we're glad that you're here.
yes, thank you. I actually started off in college radio. I used to be a radio personality, which is why I talk fast. Then I went over to mainstream radio, moved out here to Atlanta to get on air. WCLK was one of the first colleges I called to see if I could bring my. Once I got here, if I can come down here and work on the show.
And do your show.
They told me no. You have to be a student. I said okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I went to the other Georgia State and Georgia Tech, and they said the same thing. So I kind of hung it up for a while. So
And
they.
now, do you want to talk about the fact, because we got a press release about the office moving here
Mhm.
and that they were hiring. They were looking for resumes.
Oh, absolutely.
So do you want to?
Yeah, sure. I think that'd be great. I think that'd be awesome. Thank you so much. So they got these phones back here, and I made a joke. I said, "What is this, like a phone bank?" And they actually do phone banking from time to time to raise funds. I know they're NPR affiliates, so make sure you guys give a contribution if you're able to. So you guys, do you guys are those cameras there?
There's a television production area
Yeah.
across, right next door, and I believe they used to film, but you see, it's not
Yeah.
in action. I think they used. I don't know if it was simulcast on CAU TV,
Mm-hmm.
but it used to be. But it hasn't been for like 5 years or so.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's been sitting up there for a minute because my show's been on. This is the 6th year,
Oh wow, you a vet,
and
seasoned.
yeah, they haven't used it. Rob, were they ever using those when you were here?
Using what?
The camera.
Yeah, CAU TV, when I got here, they were simulcasting part of Morris's show and Reva Blue. When
And then
Reva
they
Blue was
stopped.
on in the evenings,
Uh-huh.
then they stopped. So Mark has been using Facebook Live and Periscope to do some stuff, but we haven't been videotaping. So, and again, the key on the microphone is you want to be talking into it, not off to either side of it.
Gotcha.
And if you guys are ready, I'll go ahead and do some level checks. And what are we shooting for here, Kipling?
The full if we can.
Okay, well, yeah, we just need to. Well, so yeah, we'll figure it out.
Hey Kip, also
Be a 3-minute cue.
just FYI, there's disagreements within the movement, and we want to talk about that. I think that Black folks deserve to know what they're getting into and what's out there. So
Okay.
ask
So-
about any controversy, and I'll go into detail for you.
Okay, I will. And one of the things I do want to get on the record is the true mission, because we're living in this world of alternate facts. So there are people who are saying it's a
I'll tell you.
counterpunch to the Klan, and I'm
No.
like, okay, how did that ever even get out there?
Mhm.
I didn't get that one. How did that ever get out there that Black Lives Matter was directly, the counterpart of the Ku Klux Klan? But
Yeah,
I've had people say that, so.
yeah.
And then I want to also ask about the fact that this is, I think, one of the first civil rights movement organizations founded by Black women.
It is.
The SELC had a women's group at a time. when they felt that it was needed, but they, NAACP maybe had a women's, committee or something.
Yeah.
And then we've got the National Council of Negro Women, but that was more of, in my opinion, that was more of an advocacy kind of group that wasn't really protesting.
Right.
It was there, and they did advocate for Black women, not to take anything away from that organization. But I think this is the first organization founded by 3 Black women of this magnitude.
I'm going to give you some real facts.
Is that important? And if it is,
I think that it is, but I think it's groundbreaking. I'll say that. But there's more to what meets the eye.
You ready? Okay, he's ready.
All right.
Your phone on silent. Good morning, good people. This is Kipling Primus, your host for the local take on Jazz 91.9 WCLK. And this morning we're joined in the studio by Sir Maejor from the Black Lives Matter movement in Atlanta. And Sir Maejor, welcome.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Now, share with our listeners exactly what that means, because there have been some other organizations here that operated under the auspices of Black Lives Matter. They weren't called Black Lives Matter, but this is now Black Lives Matter Atlanta. So what does that actually mean?
So let's make a quick correction. We are Black Lives Matter Greater Atlanta. There's another chapter out there, as you mentioned. They now use the name Black Lives Matter Atlanta. Before, I think it's important to know that were using the name for 2 years unaffiliated, right? So for 2 years, they decided to use the name. It's just like some folks saying, we're going to start up a group. December 2015, they decided, let's get organized. Let's try to do our first general body meeting. 200 people came for the first meeting, 10 people stayed. And we'll talk about why 10 people stayed and why they only have 5 members. When I was a part of that group, I left, and we'll talk about why I left, emphasizing on why I left, and started up another chapter at the request of the people. I answered the call, did it, and now we're Black Lives Matter Greater Atlanta.
So what is the difference? Why did you leave? And is Black Lives Matter Greater Atlanta affiliated with the larger Black Lives Matter movement?
Gotcha. So the reason why I left is because we don't believe in centering sexuality nor gender around the movement, right? I think it's a disservice to say Black Lives Matter and we only specifically focus in on things that divide us. So let's say sexuality and gender. Well, if we're saying that we meet because of the deaths of unarmed Black men or Black people in general, but then there's this hidden agenda that we're forcing down folks' throats. You're not really saying that Black Lives Matter, you're an LGBT organization. You see what I'm saying? And so we're talking about 200 people going to the meetings and becoming members because of they was force feeding the whole sexuality thing down folks' throats. For example, every meeting we would have to go around the table and say, hey, my name is Caitlin, and I identify as she, her, and them. And you get folks that'll say, why is that important? Like, I get why it's important, but what we need to focus is organizing, mobilizing, and coming up with tangible results that'll help our people. I think when we start to segment and divide our own people within an organization that is designed to tear down that power structure, I think we're doing our people a disservice.
So now, are you all, the Greater Atlanta chapter, affiliated with the overall?
No. So, great question. We are not affiliated with National. We made a determination based on reviewing the principles and having conversations. We made a determination that we were not going to be affiliated. However, we stand in solidarity with the movement and also with the principles and the platform. So we just don't see eye to eye on every single thing, and that is the division aspect of the organization.
So how did you come to be involved? What was it about the overall Black Lives Matter movement that drew you?
So before, for those who do know me, I was an actor. I did a TV show called American Horror Stories on FX, right? So I was doing good for myself. I started engaging while chilling in the hotel suite next to Angela Bassett and Gabby Sidibe and working with all these great actresses and actors. You know, when you have your downtime, you can't help but watch the news or see it in your timeline or on your email address, right? And so I'm seeing cases of black men dying in these streets, and they go unchecked, they go unchallenged. And so at that point, what I made a determination to do was get involved, use my platform, use the little platform I had to speak out. Once I did that, I drew more attention to myself by the police. The police started not liking me. I started filming them and engaging in this activism stuff called cop block. It's when you film the police, write up complaints, and you turn them in, and so it's called police accountability and transparency. So it's called cop block. That's how I first got to start with the activism in Georgia.
And what led you to go on to actually start this chapter?
So when I was when I was with the other chapter, I believe that I brought a lot of publicity to that organization just based off of the little success I've accumulated for myself off of TV, right? Here you got this guy from American Horror Stories. He's shedding light on an organization that didn't have much traction, not to demean that group, but didn't have traction. They weren't taken serious. And so I rallied a lot of my friends to let's go join this organization because at that time I needed some support. Once everyone started to see what really was going on, folks said, listen, man, if you start your own group, I'll join that. But I can't rock with the other group just based on what they were doing. And we're talking about a Black Lives Matter group that was getting kicked out of several churches in Atlanta, right? So for discrimination. They were getting kicked out of churches for discrimination. So I made a decision, after answering the call, I said, I guess I'll go ahead and do it. I started a chapter and we called it Greater Atlanta, and we've been thriving ever since.
So, we're living in this world now of alternate facts, so to speak. What is the mission of your chapter of Black Lives Matter?
Got you. So our mission is community accountability. We are organized and created to change the legislation, keyword legislation, that limits, restrict, or oppress people of color, right? So we believe and understand that, yes, protesting serves its purpose, creates the awareness. Yes, boycotting serves its purpose. You withhold your wealth. Yes, shutting things down and becoming civil disobedient, yes, that serves a purpose. It inconveniences people, right? However, that is not how you change the law. If we are unhappy with the law, we must change the legislation that allows police officers to do what they do. We must change the laws that allow our government to restrict us or restrict access to us. And so that is why we primarily exist. So I think that both chapters have a place in this society because you have the ones that are really rebellious, and we must always resist, right? You must actively resist. And then you have the group that primarily focus on dealing with the politicians, changing the laws, knowing when they're trying to sneak a bill that's going to be detrimental to black folks, right? And being up there to advocate it and defend our rights. And so I think that there's a place for both Black Lives Matter groups, but that's why we primarily exist, is to change the legislation.
And I mentioned to you earlier, Black Lives Matter, the national organization, is one of the first civil rights groups founded by African American women. Mm-hmm. These young women have been lauded. They've been featured in Forbes for leadership. Does that matter that that women started this organization?
I think that what the three founders, Patricia and Opia, I think what they've done was groundbreaking to have a grassroots organization, such a black grassroots organization who does not live in the compounds of society. And so for that organization to reach its peak I'm thoroughly impressed, and I think that no one can ever erase the work that they have given to our society. Black Lives Matter is a household name, right? And so somehow it became a political uh, theme here, but Black Lives Matter, you have to give credit to the three black women who started this, and I think it's phenomenal what they've done.
You said that you all just started this chapter, Black Lives Matter of Greater Atlanta.
Yes.
And that you all are hiring. You're looking to bring on people.
Yes.
What is it that you're looking for? What kind of positions are you all hiring for? And what does that mean for our listeners?
So let's be clear, it's not a hiring because we ain't got no money. So, but we are recruiting. We are looking for qualified folks to come join our leadership team. So the type of qualifications we're looking for college kids. We're looking for people that live in the community. So not necessarily those from Dunwoody or Smyrna. Obviously, if you're black, we want you, but we really want to. For the areas that we're occupying, we want people from that community to be engaged and be involved. Certainly because we are changing the way, or we're fighting to change the way in which black folks live. And so if we're in the West End area, well, we need black folks from the West End community to come on out. If we're going to be over in Fourth Ward, we need folks from the Fourth Ward community to get involved and get engaged and be at these NPUs and these city council meetings and so forth. So we're looking for qualified candidates, those who are graphic designers, those who may be attorneys, those who may be mental health specialists or professionals. Like, we got some real issues. And so I think black folks, we have to go through this healing process in order for us to start to be able to do this work.
And how can those folks who are interested reach out to you guys? So
anyone that is interested in being a part of this organization, most certainly go to our website, blacklivesmattergreateratlanta.com. Or you can type in blacklivesmatteratlanta.com, and you can also reach this amazing chapter.
Thank you so much, Sir Maejor.
My pleasure.
Okay. All right. I'll let you know. I'll reach back out to you guys and let you know when we're going to